weren't too many educators that were African American men. When I was in school, I could probably count on one hand how many that I ever seen, but just to see him in that position was really big for me.
I was in high school, I lived with my granny, so the next street over was actually, he showed me the house and everything, the house he lived in. So we actually come from the same block.
I came back to Sarasota, and I started working at my high school that I attended, in high school, Review High School, as I came in as a assistant basketball coach and assistant football coach. And I did it for several reasons. I didn't really want to be in recreation. I really wanted to be in education. And I was in recreation because that was the only place I could get a job at the time. When I came out of college, I applied for a school system in Sarasota. I couldn't get a position because it was pretty much a freeze on hiring black men. Other guys that I went to high school with, they got jobs. You know, a lot of the white guys got jobs.
The black male role model, a lot of people like to say that there isn't that person in the black community, but I see that person every day. Mm-hmm. I see it in you, I see it in my dad, I see it in a lot of other people, but people would like to say that there is not that person. So how do you feel about the black male role model?
I feel like it's so important, and it's a really big reason of why I do what I do and why I enjoy being here in this position, is because I know that growing up, Coach Ward was that for me.
I think Nate Brown came to one of my camps. I think he might have been a sixth grader, fifth grader, came to my basketball camp. And my wife I think she had him in class, so she goes, "Hey, I want this little kid to come to camp." So I said, "Oh, okay. What's it gonna cost?" It cost him absolutely nothing. She brought Nate to camp. Oh, fell in love with Nate from the start.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Young African American men and boys and girls sometimes feel like there's sort of like a glass ceiling that says you can only do this, or this is as high as you can go. And I just want to encourage them to reach beyond that and to do greater things, and to do things that you don't necessarily see in your day-to-day life. For a lot of young men and women, they may have dreams of pursuing careers where they don't see anyone who looks like them in that career. And I just want to encourage them, just because you don't see anyone who looks like you in that career doesn't, like, you can be the first.
Hi.
Just a kid from, the inner city who I had a bad attitude. I'll tell you that. I had a really bad attitude. And for some reason, man, he saw something in me. He saw something in me, and he took me under his wing, as he did a lot of other kids, Any kid that he saw that needed some direction, I'm sure it was tough on him, because I'm just thinking about how I was.
My coach, Ward, actually gave me my first car.
My thing is, I thought about a lot of days, just about every morning going to work, that I was one of those kids that was getting off that bus every morning, walking into those classes at Riverview High School. And there was 3 buses. When I was a student, there was still 3 buses at that time. Doing a lot of, when I first got back then, I could see myself getting off that bus every morning. And so I put myself in those kids' place every day. How can I do this every day and become successful?
Hello?
Hey, good morning. I know Javon's up.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
Okay, we're on our way. All right.
Okay, bye.
a kid like me with the attitude I had at the time, I would say most coaches wouldn't take the time out to deal with a kid like me. You know, between he and his wife and some of the other coaches, you know, he took me under his wing, coming to get me for practices, all that stuff, taking me to eat, whatever, you know, putting time into me, man. So that bond between he and I, no matter how much we, you know, teeter-totter with talking and all that stuff, we know what it is. You know, I love him. I appreciate everything he's ever done for me, man. He saw to it that I got to college. He was the first person to take me on my first college visit.
I used to drive the bus and pick the kids up, and then at the end of practice, I take them home, and I wake them up early in the mornings, stop by the ones in there. I made sure that I had every kid every day. Every one of those boys that played football, we made sure we had everybody every day, unless they was actually sick. And the way we knew they was sick is that we would stop by the house. I would pull that bus up in front of the yard and go in that house and see that kid every day. But the one day, Vegas Brown, he was pouting on the bus heading into practice, and so he happened to sit right behind me, and so I was talking to him a little bit, and he was, I noticed that he had a problem, so I pulled the bus over.
I don't recall everything around that story, but I do remembering that there was a time period that I felt like I should be playing more or starting.
And I said, okay, Vegas, what's up? And he was honest. He just was talking about his playing time a little bit, and so all the other players, they was quiet. They was kind of listening, and so I just asked them, everybody on the bus, the same one question. I say, guys, if you wanted to be anybody on this bus, who would you want to be? Every kid on the bus said, I want to be Vegas Brown.
I did feel good knowing that from an academic standpoint and people understanding where I was going in life, that I had the respect of my teammates.
Every kid. And then after every kid said that, I said, I also want to be Vegas Brown. And Vegas just, he didn't know what to think. And then I explained to him why we all wanted to be Vegas Brown. And we all wanted to be Vegas Brown because he was so smart. He was smarter than all of us.
Yeah, I'm an emergency medicine physician, born and raised in Sarasota, Newtown.
I only hope that every person can have a legitimate friend like Jim Ward, who when you screw up, tells you. When he thinks different, tells you. When he agrees, tells you. True friends aren't afraid to tell the truth. Oh no, man, you got that wrong. This is better, and that doesn't mean you have to agree. But that's a true friend.
And I think your dad was really good at stressing academics. Now, he couldn't be in the class taking the test for them. He could only do so much. But I think he instilled in them the importance of not only athletics, but the student athlete, the student part of the student athlete. I think he was very good at that.
When I grew up, I didn't know anyone except for my teachers that happened to go to college. And I had no idea how my teachers went to college and why or anything else. But people in my neighborhood, my family, none of those people had college educated. And once integration hit, and I was bused, and I got a chance to meet different people, be in different households and everything else, I knew that I could do it.
Their mom and Daisy, she didn't have to worry about, oh, they out there in trouble. They didn't do that. And they stuck together as brothers. They stuck together. And when I really realized what was going on with him was when he got into football. And then when he went to Kansas, I said, okay, this is going to be big. And at the time, he had gotten married, and it didn't let him deter him. It didn't stop him. He's been really responsible. He He's always been responsible.
Oh yeah, because he is a hard worker. He show you that you need to go out there and get it on your own and don't depend on nobody.
Yep, independent.
I think he also taught us how to keep pushing. Like, don't quit in the middle of something. Like, if you don't like it, you just gotta finish it, and then after it's done, don't do it again.
Yes, and I look at my players, look at my kids and say, guys can do whatever you choose to do with your life, but you gotta have goals. You got to have dreams, and you got to work every day for it. And you got to outwork other people, and that's what I taught them. And a lot of them come to me now, and they just go, Coach, I really understand what you did for us, and it was major important. When things get tough, they know how to work through it.
There's a woman living right next door. She's always in a hurry. I wonder what she's rushing for. She gotta get her kids to school. She gotta pay the bills. She gotta buy the food. She gotta study late. She's got a lot of jobs, but she ain't got no time for God.